Hi, welcome to Dear Anybody on the 18th of October 1999. My name's Kevin. I'm reading letters written by my late father Jimmy Hodge, who was a journalist here in Kent in the UK. He wrote a letter every day in 1999 as a prelude to the millennium. On the 18th, bit of a funny thing with Rolls-Royce were apparently going to be making some sort of fuel for submarines up in Derby, and that was causing a lot of local consternation because a plant in Japan had blown up not that much earlier and and contaminated the local area. So folks in Derby were rightly probably concerned that the same thing could happen, particularly as Rolls-Royce couldn't produce any sort of contingency plans. Soldiers who worked at Portadown were being highlighted. Apparently, soldiers at Portadown, the nuclear, I'm not sure it's nuclear, but welfare, anti-warfare, what's the word I'm looking for? Chemical warfare, were asked to be volunteers and were given extra leave, to which Jimmy said, yeah, most probably would have given their right arm for that. But subsequently, turns out that the experiments weren't quite so benign, so they're being offered some sort of compensation. The AA was mentioned. Hotel Guide in 2000 had some bizarre complaints listed. What was it? A noisy river. Could that be turned down? Another wanted a lighthouse. Turned off. Having stayed at a place where there was a chiming clock on the quarter hour and hour all night, I can say that I would have, if I'd have had a button, I would have done that. One German couple said the cereal was stale after eating decorative jars of dried beans and pasta. Poor guys. Condry for the BBC. Replacements for Jill Dando, the presenter who was killed, was hot on the go. Someone called Sophie Rainworth was put into the window of taking over, although Jimmy thought perhaps she looked a bit too much like Jill Dando, and perhaps a lot of presenters similar, so he was a little bit concerned for her welfare. But whether she ever took it up, I don't know. Let us know again. And the PS today, quite funny, I think. Medics rushed a 36-year-old man to hospital in Izia, Romania, after he was beaten up by a stick-waving granddad who was aged 103. As Dad said, they don't make them like that anymore. Man, I'm sure not. He's not around now, I bet, but I'm not sure it was justified, but, no excuse for violence, I guess. Anyway, that was the news on the 18th of October, 1999. Thanks for joining me.